Ladies and gentlemen, Two Dudes Talk Music in conjunction with E. Brown Industries and Big Jerry Burger brings to you everybody's new favourite game show, Get in the Bin. Now, let's go to our host, Reverend Raph and the beer buddy, Kyle. Welcome back to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raph, joined by my good friend Kyle, aka the beer buddy.
What's going on, everybody?
And we are joined by our good mates, Rowan and Josh from Fist. Bang, every time. That's just the thing now. Yep. I'm going to do that every fucking time. It's just going to be a thing. And we are going to be going through everybody's favorite Sunday night game show, Get in the Bin.
Yes.
You get the nice graphic that pops up over when I do that. And then like a soundboard so I can have an audience cheering and everything, just like the introduction. So yes, this is a fun little segment where we sort of, imaginarily or metaphorically bestow our guests with phenomenal cosmic powers, and we ask them, if you could eliminate something from the music business or change something about the music business, what would it be and why? We'll grab 3 things from each of you. Whoever wants to start off with their first one, away you go.
I'm going to go first because I need to think of a second one. Streaming and the ease of access to music nowadays has devalued. Like, I love it, and of course I listen to Spotify all the time, but I feel like it's devalued music and devalued albums, because I remember having to like hopping in someone's car and pulling the thing down with the fucking CD rack there, and you don't put a CD on, listen to one song, and then change it. You'd get more of an understanding of bands, and you'd get to know their stuff a bit better. And it was more exciting to find new stuff. Like the album's dead now. Like, there's no point. Just do singles because nobody wants to listen to an album. And some songs are shit by themselves. They need the album ebb and flow. And I miss like discovering a new band and listening to a full album, because I don't even do it myself anymore.
I literally, devalued is a word I use about streaming all the time. And I'm not going to get too far into it because I've done this topic to death on the channel, and I'm sure people are sick of hearing my particular comments about it.
You actually articulate, but you said that really well, because you hit both mine and Raf's points right on the head of what pisses.
Yeah.
Oh.
In short, when you can have all of the music in the world accessible for the price of an album, you're never going to go back to buying an album. And I go further, and I believe if you took streaming away today, it would take potentially decades for the idea of albums and physical media like to become the norm again. It's broken people's brains. It has. But yeah, sorry, I'll cut myself off there. Otherwise, I go on like a 10-minute
there's another
rant.
Hour.
Yeah, for me, I've got a really controversial one. Like, I agree that like I definitely miss the way that you would get so invested in a band from like kind of being technologically forced into like listening to them, if that makes sense. Like, if you have the CD, you're going to listen to the whole thing. If Spotify is on, it's going to give you whatever it wants to. I think that we really try to like adapt to the circumstances as they are and not bitch too much. But like, I think that the way that like your For You page works makes life really difficult for artists. And it's not necessarily about the algorithm, it's the way that the algorithm like actually makes you go like, so when it was like LimeWire and stuff, like Pirate Bay, whatever, wherever you get your music, like back then for free because you're a cheap cunt, you would have to like search for Pantera, right? You know what you're looking for, you find it, you're curious, you download it, you listen to it, you get into it. And now your For You page, and this is true across all social media, including Spotify, it tells you what you're going to like. And like, it's
good at it.
It's pretty good at it.
It is.
But like, it means that like that you're being spoon-fed stuff that like is just so in your wheelhouse that you won't ever really hear something that you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree that it is a double-edged sword. And that, as artists, it's good in the sense that your music can get out there to people you would never have been able to reach before. Like,
Well, think about it for accessibility was as far as going on other podcasts go. You can message any podcast in the world as long as they speak English and be like, here's our stuff on Spotify, not send them a CD or hope that it
Yeah.
gets played on radio
yeah,
or something like that. It just
yeah.
there.
And I mean, I know YouTube has its own issues as well on that front. And I mean, yes, there are things I wish they did differently, but I mean, I'm also appreciative of the fact that it's allowed us to gain literally a global audience. I mean, we have people that tune into our stuff from all over the world who we're incredibly grateful for. But yeah, it's the way that the algorithm drives content is painful at times, and it can be a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, good ones to start with there. Absolutely. Who's got number 2?
Legacy bands. They need to die.
Kill them.
There's not, you don't get like mid-tier bands doing decent sized tours anymore. Nobody's going out to like mid-tier bands as much. It's these fucking legacy bands that are just doing the same shit and still going. Like, I love Metallica, but
Guys, stop.
yeah,
Seriously,
like, give someone else a
okay.
chance.
I think the
Because
weirdest
there
thing's been
hasn't
the
been
moment.
a big band in a long time. And it's because the other ones are still riding the coattails of what they did in the 80s.
Yeah, but that's because we're the paying customers now. Do you know what
True.
I mean? It's like, well, the way you got to think of it is like this. It's like when we were real young and stuff, and we had no money, we couldn't exactly go to all those shows. Now that they're older and we've aged up with them, and we still love them as much as what they do, they can do the bigger shows now. And now chances are, I'm going to drag my kids along.
Mm.
And I guess that's what, yeah, but I do understand what you mean. But I
I
think
think-
this is where it needs to be more of a responsibility for legacy acts to bring up middle bands.
Yes, I think there's a thing with Australia, with APRA or whatever, where the legs, like when Metallica tours, they have to have a local band or something, like one
Open.
local act
I
or
think-
something like that.
Yeah, I know
I
there
think
was.
we'll
I know
focus on that stuff.
I know it. Yeah, I think it used to be an expectation. If it wasn't a requirement, it was certainly an expectation for a while, and then they scrapped that. But I know there was talk of reintroducing legislation to require that. I don't know how successful that was, but yeah, I agree. Like the it's like radio used to be required to play, I think, something like 25% new music, and 25% of that had to be Australian new music. But if no one's listening to the radio anymore, the fucking Spotify's algorithm's not pushing that.
No.
Yeah,
It's not pushing
and
local
for
content.
even community radio, I think the legislation is still 40% Australian music. And yeah, for any non-profit. So that includes, say, your like Double J, for example, like your stuff like that. And what's easier, finding new up and coming Australian bands or playing fucking K-San?
Yeah, and chances are, if you are going to play that, you're going to get someone calling in and going, "Play K-San."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The radio plays what they want you to hear.
People, people like what's familiar, and I think, look, my thing is, I understand, like, as musicians, we sort of exist in a bit of a bubble on this issue, because we are, for the most part, like, as musicians, we're usually like music fans. I think a lot of people that call themselves music fans aren't music fans. They listen to music, but they're not music fans, because I think music fans are always on the hunt for something new and exciting.
Yes.
And if you're just stagnating listening to the same bands that you've listened to for the last 20 or 30 years and are never open to anything new, you're not a music fan. You listen to music, but you're not a music fan. And I know that's probably going to upset some people. I'm sure there's going to be some people that will try and argue that take. But you know,
But it's
you,
got
you're
to,
you're
but
a
it's just
fan
like
of
one of those.
you're a fan of those bands,
Yes,
but
you like what you like.
being a music fan, I think, is a different level of
But
topic
see,
entirely.
it's like the way we treat music is like the way some people treat food.
Hmm.
You know, like some people just like I'm eating chicken nuggies and like dino nuggies and chips, and that is it. Like
Yeah,
I got to
I know
like
what I
that's
like
it.
every time I go to
Yeah,
every any restaurant I go to. There's one thing that I always order when I go there.
yeah. For people like us, when we look at music, it's far out. Where's the limit? When can I eat? What can I eat
Yeah,
next?
yeah.
Mm.
What's the new heaviest band that you can throw
Mm,
at me? What's the new
something new on the menu.
fusion band that's mixing things that don't feel like they should work together? You know, what's the new like? You know, what's I want to know what the next Bloody Wood is.
What
Oh,
sounds fresh?
did you hear Bloodywood? Did you hear about Bloodywood's new video that they done?
What, the
We should
cooking
do a
one?
reaction to it. It's all about
It's
food.
all about food. Yeah, yeah.
Sick.
Uh, okay, cool. That's a really good
They're
one.
good.
Yeah, on board. What's your second one there, Rowan?
Mine is somehow more controversial than dragging the Rolling Stones out into the street and executing them.
Oh wow.
Um, I think that we should fuck off a lot of intellectual property law and like copyright law.
Hmm.
Um, because we're using like ways of making music that have been around for fucking 400 years, like since
Mm,
Bach.
mm.
And there's only so many ways that you can put that shit together. Like I've actually got some court cases up on my other screen. Like Ed Sheeran, Katy Perry getting sued because it just sounds
Yeah.
too similar. I'm not talking about like, you know, your Ice Ice Babies, but even then, like, fuck it, who cares? It's
Mm,
do 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 do.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
It's
being ripped off. Like,
yeah.
who cares?
who cares?
Mm, yeah.
But like I think that like as we see, you know, so Spotify uses a lot of like algorithmic playlists that they make all the music for.
Yeah.
It's been well documented. It's more mood playlists like, you know, beats to study to,
Yeah.
a lot of
Lo-fi
jazz
and
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. The
Yeah,
coffee and chill and shit.
right. So they hire like these production houses to like these, you know, basically song farms to like write that shit. They license it. They own the rights to it. They're paying themselves the royalties from that.
Yeah. Keeping all their
Um,
money in house.
But also, let's say, for example, that like Fist writes something that
Mm.
sounds too close to something that's been spat out of this fucking content farm,
Oh.
like
Mm,
just through sheer happenstance, like one melody,
yeah.
whatever. We could get raked over the coals. Like it literally just exists to make more and more money for the richest cunts in the world. I don't think it helps
Yeah.
artists.
Mm,
Like,
It doesn't. Well, I mean, look, if I've noticed that a lot of the sort of independent ones now, and it's such a good idea. I think it was BB No Money for a couple of his songs and
yeah.
stuff like that. What he did, he actually just went, I'm not putting any copyright things up on my music. He sent it to streamers, he sent it to everyone. He said, use it as much as you want, wherever you want, put it in all your videos. You're not going to get any copyright strikes on me. Just get my fucking song out there.
mm.
And that was it. Within I think it was in under a year, he had a handful of songs blow up, and now he's like calling himself the Gen Z Eminem, and like
Oh,
he's
dude,
just
yeah, which is the
on
funniest
it.
lyric ever.
Yeah, he's just
He
on
loves
it
it.
at the
Yeah.
moment. Like he's just on. But that was his marketing thing. He's just like,
Mm.
I gave my music away up to a point, and then he's just like, yeah, he was sitting there one day, and he just checked his bank account, and he's like 400K in there because the TV show decided to use his music, and they had to pay licensing rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baby
Yeah.
No Money is one of the savviest minds in the music industry right now.
Yes,
He
yes, he's
really
someone
is.
to pay attention,
He
really pay
really
attention
is.
to.
There's so much to just pick up from him. Smart, smart dude. For somebody that has like self-admitted like trash music. Like I listen to Baby No Money.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah.
Um, trash music, really, really switched on, dude.
Yep.
Really, really switched
Mm.
on.
Knows how to write a hook, man.
Yep. And he seems like a good hang. I'd hang
Yeah.
with Baby No Money.
Yeah, I don't baby no money.
Okay. Cool. All right. Last one from each of you. What have you got?
All right. Bands and their approach to their music, I guess. There's two things that I've really been focusing on with our tunes over the last probably 2 years now, and I don't see. And I think every song sounds the same. All bands and how the production is done, it all sounds cookie cut. And I think that yeah, because it's become so much easier for bands to record. Like I can record a lot of our shit in here if I wanted and get it sent off to be mixed and whatever. And because it's so easy now to make and record music, bands are not putting in that effort. Like back in 70s, 80s, 90s, you had to spend thousands of dollars for a certain amount of time, and they can't fix it in post. There was like if you don't know your shit,
Mm.
what's the point of paying for it? And like Bruce Dickinson with Number of the Beast, like it was that intro where he's just like quietly singing before the big scream. There's the stories of that taking like 80 takes or something till they got it right, instead of just going, oh, that's close enough. I know I can make that sound professional and good. So
Yeah.
like, and you don't that it's hard thing to translate like the effort and the energy put behind one certain take because you've done it so many times. Like as a studio engineer, I can fix the timing, I can fix the pitch. I can't make you give a shit.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that genuine energy into it, then it's going to transmit and it's just going to sound like everything else.
Yeah.
And I think the same with live shows. Like too many bands are worried about it being their art and like, oh, this is something heartfelt that I've written. I don't fucking know you. Like I don't know you. I don't know your situation. You can't make me feel like sad for you
Mm.
because I'm here having a few beers. Like
Mm.
if you're playing a live show, you've gotten the opportunity to go out there and you're supposed to entertain, put on a show, be authentic to yourself, but you've got to give the crowd and the random punters something. They're not
To connect
it's
to.
it's not a privilege for them to get to see you in the
Yeah.
back room at a pub. You've got to you've got to give them something for them to care about your shit.
Mm.
And it's when
Yes.
people go out there and oh, this next song's for anyone who's been through heartbreak. I don't want to hear it. I don't know
Mm.
you. I don't want to hear about your relationship problems.
Yeah.
And I've got songs that are like that, but we don't
Yeah.
harp on that.
Mm.
You just play the
Rowan will
song.
make yeah, we play the song, and because of our nature, we're like Rowan will say something dumb or like something stupid or rip on me about like we go straight from like really heartfelt lyrics to dick jokes. And
Yeah.
because that's us, like it doesn't take away from the music or like the message in the song. It's putting on a show. It's a show. Put on
Mm.
fucking a show instead of just going, these guys are lucky they get to see me do a sweep solo. Like, fuck off. There's a million bands that do it.
Yep.
Mm.
But yeah, the recording and the band's approach to their art.
Mm. But I mean, yeah, I agree. There's like, who was it, Kyle? I don't know if you can help me out here, Kyle. We did I think was it a reaction or one of our Rockin' Around the World episodes, maybe. We reacted, we did something that we were listening to, and it was like, it was a recent release. Like it was released in this decade, but they had like, they did that thing that was very common in like the 70s where the guitar was panned more to one side and the bass was more panned to the other. So it was
Oh, that was one we just did last week. I can't remember who it
yeah,
was,
but it
but I
was
think it
like,
was one of the bands we did last week.
yeah, so effectively creating an unbalanced mix,
Mm.
right? In a lot of ways, some would consider that to be unbalanced because you like current the logic says your bass should be down the center and your guitars should be out on the sides to create that space, blah blah blah. But like, yeah, you listen to a lot of that stuff. Like once multi-track and stereo recording started to become a thing, like people were getting weird with it. You would have guitar solos that would move around the stereo field. You would have, the guitar be almost exclusively on the left side or the right side, and the bass be almost exclusively on the other. It was, people were trying all this kind of different things. And I understand that there's, you know, appeal, there's a set of kind of general rules on how things should be mixed and produced. But again, knowing the rules and knowing when to break them.
Mm. And it's not even the whole fact of breaking them. It's just doing things differently. It's not like you're still bringing out an album. You're just not doing it the conventional way, or you're not.
Mm,
Yeah, it's all about thinking outside, but pressed up against the box.
mm.
No,
Yeah,
Because otherwise,
too many
you're just
songs
going to
just
look
sound
like some weird guy
yeah,
standing there with a Fender bass on one foot, playing it with a bow through a guitar amp or some junk, and that's just too left field.
yeah,
No one needs to see that.
yeah. But and yeah, and you get bands like we saw this band at Metal to the Max back in October called Hell Machine, and it was, a drummer and a bass player. That was it. But
In fucking Australian.
they're playing like this absolutely hectic thrash stuff, and I'm like, cool, that's something different. That's
Well,
something different. It's unique. It kind of captures my attention, right?
everybody had something to say about them because they stood out so much from every other band through the weekend.
I'd rather hear something I don't like that's new and interesting than hear the same shit done well. Like,
Yeah.
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 That's when you walk up to the guys like, oh, look, man, I didn't like your set, but dude, thank you so much for just doing something different. That was the most entertaining thing, coming out
Yeah.
and seeing something different. It wasn't my cup of tea, but it was great to see something fucking different.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
just stop
Awesome.
sounding like everyone else.
Yeah.
All right, Rowan. Last one for the evening.
Man, I have so many that I could bring up. So I'm gonna rapid fire a couple, and we'll see what we'll land on.
Okay. All right.
Personal
Cool.
pet peeve is center channel build up that phase cancellation in mixes. Means that if you play it out of a mono speaker, all you hear is that's a
Ooh.
mixing thing that fucks me off. That's personal. I fucking hate, like everyone does. Did I just write the song of the summer? No, you didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, you
yeah.
didn't. You didn't. It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, you can be proud of your work, but the odds are
Yeah.
no, you didn't.
But I think that one thing that really gets me, and I think Josh touched on this earlier, is I think that anybody that is just fucking up themselves needs a reality check, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're happy to sit here, me and Josh, and go like, yeah, we of course we kind of suck. Every band kind of sucks. Like we were talking about Metallica before. Stanger sucks. Yeah, I listened to Lulu fucking 3 times. Not good. Like I think that a lot of people, and this actually stops a lot of people from like making and especially performing music. They have this idea, this concept of like what their perfect song that they could write is. And then if they fall short of that, it would like that would be devastating.
Yeah.
You know, playing like if you fuck up a note in a gig, nobody cares.
Mm,
Focus on the energy, man. Just like
Yeah.
don't worry about like the specifics, worry about the vibe. Like and that like obviously nail down your specifics and everything, but the vibe is the main thing. And if your vibe sucks, your band sucks.
Yep. Yep.
But Tom Mark and Travis show just full of mistakes and like fuck ups and stuff like that
mm.
adds to it instead of taking it away.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's where the
Oh.
appeal of like, part of the appeal of early punk was like the roughness of it. You progress that forward in time, and you're getting into like the kind of grunge territory that was something there as well. I would argue that early nu metal kind of embraced that a little bit before it got super popular and every band was trying to jump on the trend and it got too polished. And even going into some of the like that the hardcore side of things too, the energy's there about like being, like real and that's imperfection's a part of that. And
Yeah.
if you get up on stage and you're playing your song and you flub a note, you know what? Next time it comes around, flub it again on purpose.
Yep. Yep.
Then that's
Say, this is
then
how I
it's
do it live
yeah.
now.
This is how. I did just so it's like I did that on purpose. It wasn't a fuck up. I did that on
Yeah.
purpose.
Just for you, Sydney.
If you're on stage and you fuck up a note and you don't go like, then no one's gonna know that you fucked up a note.
Yeah. And like on our live album, there's a lot of mistakes, of course there is. There's a couple that we fixed, but like most of them we just went, oh, that's kind of funny. Like that's
Yeah.
part of it. That's how the song goes.
Well, yeah, technically it's actually not a fuck up because now it's on the album. That's the way you actually
Yeah,
got to play the song now. It's recorded.
yeah. Like I am a and this is my like and it's I don't like getting too deep on this shit, but like I really feel like music is a thing that you do in the moment. Like when
Yeah.
you're singing along to a song, you're participating in the music. The music is the live thing. And like everything else can feel sometimes like just a product that people are putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree. Like
realistically, that's all.
the
Sorry, go, Raf.
yeah, I was just gonna say like it's the live performance is is unique. Every live performance is going to be unique. You might be playing the same songs, but there'll be minute differences each time. Different rooms, different sizes of crowds, different PA systems, different stage setups that are going to impact the sound.
Different problems to navigate.
Different problems to navigate. You're going to make different flubs. You're going to sing this bit slightly differently each time you do it live, and live performance is where the true art, I think, lies in a lot of it. And I know it sounds, I'm not trying to be like sound pretentious talking about like real art of it or whatever, but it's true. I think it's just so important to like that's what captures people.
Real art is authentic, and if you're feeling like singing it a little bit differently that night, or like you hit a different note because you just put more energy or less energy into it,
Yeah.
it's authentic to how you are
You're
that
feeling
day.
on that day.
Yep, authentic to that moment, and that's I think more people need to focus on that rather than trying to get it precise. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand wanting to play to a click. I prefer to play to a click live these days. I understand people wanting to utilize backing tracks for certain elements that they can't
totally.
have live. That's all fine.
But is that
valid.
authentic to that person? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Who's
Yeah.
who's that Irish bloody guitarist? He's a pop singer, and I think he has Tourette's.
Lewis Capaldi?
Yeah,
That might be yeah.
Yeah, and he gets up on stage, and man, I can only I don't think he plays much anymore or anything like that. But when he was really getting around,
And he's hilarious.
man,
that dude.
he'd have episodes halfway through songs, and he couldn't sing them. All he could do was play guitar, and mate, the crowd would take over. But in that moment, that just made it so much more special for the crowd and him, and like even though he's going through all that stuff, knowing that you have all those people there to carry you through it, it's
Yeah. He could have been like, oh, fuck it, I'm not performing live anymore because I can't guarantee I won't do this. But like, you think about the emotion and the moments and the connections that would have taken away from people. And that's the core of it,
Looking up like the big artists and being like, oh, they can make fuck ups that things go wrong. It's not unattainable to be that person because they're not just on a pedestal with the extravagant show or whatever. It's like, they're human.
I'd like to close this little point out with John Sousa, the American composer, did like Star Spangled Banner and stuff like that. He was writing music and composing just as recording became a thing that could technologically happen. And he's like, if it's recorded, it's not music.
oh wow.
Like I'm not fully in that camp, but like, yeah, very much music is the thing that happens in the moment. And I think that what part of like my joy in like being in a band is, yeah, because we do go into the studio. We're releasing singles like monthly. That's the plan. And I want to be able to give people the opportunity to like sing along and participate in the music in the moment because that's when it actually happens.
Yeah,
And
nice.
that's what musicians do.
Mm.
They give other people the chance to be part of the music.
Yeah. So in a sense, you kind of look at it almost as if the recorded releases are almost like an ad for the live show. or the band be like, you know,
an ad for us
Yeah.
as what we are as a product and who we are.
Well, no, I really see it as like, if you want to sing along to a Fist song, you're part of Fist in a way. Like you're singing along, you are making the music yourself. Like if you're dancing, if you're enjoying it, if you're feeling it, you're part of the music.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
especially with
cool.
the emphasis that you put into crowd interaction and stuff like that, unless you have a crowd there, it's not a fish show.
We encourage it. Like
Yeah.
if people want to get up on stage and break our shit, like not
Not
literally
that
just come
far.
up and only break our shit, but like there's been times where punters have gotten up on stage and they're fucking around, and me and Rowan look at each other and we're like, this could go really wrong, but
It's sick.
it's the vibe.
It's being in the moment of it and enjoying that connection, which is amazing, and
Yeah.
that's great. Look, this has been so good. This has been so good chatting to you
Yeah,
guys.
you
I
guys
feel
are
like
great chat.
I feel like if we let it, this could just all go on for like hours and
I'm
hours
saying
more.
hang it
So
down.
we'll try. We'll wrap that one up there. But look, thank you so much for hanging out with us this week, guys. Chatting, going through all the things. We really, really appreciate it. Like we said on the previous video, if you haven't checked out the previous videos, by the way, go and check out the Quick Question Quarter. Go and check out the podcast episode with these guys. We'll have links down in the description to all of their stuff so you can follow along and get out to a live show and be part of Fist. And you know, keep tabs on everything that they got going on. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. We do have a Patreon if you're interested in checking that out. It's only a couple of bucks a month. We realize everyone's always bugging you to join their Patrons and whatnot. If you don't want to or you can't, that's totally fine. But if you do join, a couple of bucks a month, you get everything early and ad free. And we are looking at trying to get some ideas for exclusive content for you guys too as an extra thank you. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't, downvote the shit out of it. I have been Reverend
Notification
Raph.
bell.
And the notification bell,
And the
yes, there you go.
yeah.
And the
That
bell.
bell.
Got to hit that
Bill,
bell.
boom, boom, boom.
I have been Reverend Raph with the beer buddy Kyle and Rowan and Josh from Fist. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.